I have, and I think it's been a couple years since I've done it. I do have a 4-week class that I do just on doubles.
You okay? Enough room?
You know, where I usually spend the entire class covering a couple different types of doubles over the course of 4 weeks. And so I understand that there are so many that it can get kind of confusing. But really only with a couple of exceptions. You know, where we talk about specific types of doubles that are always made at a certain position at the table. It's not necessarily all that important that you remember every name and exact scenario and what kind of double this is. I think the most important thing is just if you can get to the point where you are thinking double in a competitive auction when you don't have a clear-cut call, there's a very good chance it's the right thing to do. It really is your best competitive tool. And you may not know exactly what you're showing when you do it. You may not know if it has a specific name. It probably does, but that's not really all that relevant. And I would actually give you, so this hand just came up for me the other day. And this just falls into the category of, so you've heard of the, we referenced the DSIP double, the do something intelligent partner double, not necessarily any particular meaning. So I picked up this hand the other day, and I was in fourth seat, and so the auction had gone a heart on my left, partner overcalled a spade. There was a raise to 2 hearts, and now here I am. What are you supposed to do with that hand? I will say this much, and hopefully you'll agree. Pass can't be right, can it? You've got to get involved somehow, right? And clearly it would be very easy to get involved if you had a third spade. You'd raise partner, right? But you only have 2 small, so I don't think freely raising partner on 2 small spades is a good idea. On the other hand, where are you supposed to be? If partner has a 6th spade, you probably do want to be in spades. If partner has 3 or more diamonds, you belong in diamonds, right? It's also possible, I suppose, maybe partner's got a 5-card club suit along with those spades. Maybe clubs is your spot. The only thing, I think there are really only 2 contracts that I would rule out here. I don't think we want to play in hearts. The opponents want to do that. So that's probably a bad idea. And we wouldn't want to play no trump. Even though you have a heart stopper, 2 no trump would be a really bad idea. And as a general rule, this goes back to what we talked about in our Lebensall discussion. The whole, the whole 2 no's a convention, not a contract thing. Whenever you size up a situation that you have about half the deck, clearly that's what's going on here, right? The high card points appear to be pretty close to evenly split between your partnership and the opponents, right? Whenever you have about half of the deck, even if you have a stopper, even if you have 2 stoppers in their long suit, right? Opener's known to have 5 hearts here. You don't want to play no trump, ever. It's just, it never works out well. Because if you have stoppers in their suit, it means they have outside points and they're going to gain the lead. They're going to lead their long suit and give you a trick. And you're going to have to give up the lead. And they're going to lead their long suit a second time and give you a trick. And now you're done, right? As soon as they get in the next time, here comes 3 or 4 more winners in their long suit. So, as a general rule, you really want more than half the deck to be playing in no trump. So what do you do? What are you supposed to do with this hand? Well, I'll tell you that without a whole lot of thought, I chose double. The opponents immediately went to 3 hearts, and at that point we were done competing. So our best spot would have been spades. Partner had 6 spades, but chose not to bid 3 spades on her own. 3 diamonds, if you bid it here, you're taking a little bit of a chance. You don't know that you have a fit. It would work as a good lead director, right? So when the opponents bid 3 hearts, maybe you get your partner off to a diamond lead.
If the opponents bid to 3, if they did.
Well, they did.
Oh, they did. Yeah, but they did, but.
There's no guarantee. Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, you might find yourself playing 3 diamonds. So, I would feel better about a free 3 diamond bid if I had a 6th diamond. So, so to me, the best compromise was double, and I was willing to live with whatever partner bid. Turns out the opponents bid first, and played their heart part score, which they made. But so, if you're worried about the name, yeah, that would be considered a responsive double. And it suggests the minors. The perfect responsive double, I would be 4-4, 5-4 in the minors. That's not quite my hand, right? I actually have 5 diamonds and only 3 clubs, and the diamonds are clearly a lot better. So is it perfect? No. But it at least gives you a way to compete. And so, if you run into a situation like that and you think, you know what, I really ought to be doing something other than pass, I'm just not sure what it is, double's probably pretty safe. If the opening bidder had passed here and double had come around to partner, my intent was to pass whatever she bid, whether that was 2 spades or 3 clubs, or maybe she'd oblige me and bid 3 diamonds, which would be the best case scenario, probably, right? But even if partner had to go back to 2 spades on like a good 5-card suit, we'd only be at the 2 level. It wouldn't be a big deal, right? So, now that was something that we did last fall, talked about, and we're looking at something a little bit different today, but just to kind of get you in that mode of, if you feel like you should be acting but you're not sure how, think about double. It's amazing how often people just forget that card is even in the bidding box. I'll do lessons and I'll say, well, think about this. What can you do? And they pull out this bid, and I'm like, no. I pull out that, no. They keep pulling out bids from the bid, and they don't even. Well, there's no bid I can make, and then they pass, and I'm like, no, there's one you're forgetting. So here is a dilemma that you might face. And I'm going to, this is an opening hand here. All right, it's a pretty decent opening hand, right? A little better than a minimum opening hand. Nice 5-card spade suit, so you open a spade. And now everybody starts getting involved. So the auction goes that way. Now, pretend for a moment that the opponents were passing throughout. How would you bid this hand? If you opened a spade and partner gave you a simple raise to 2 spades, what would you do next? You want to make a game try? You're good enough for a game try, right? Probably not good enough to just blast out 4 spades, but certainly good enough to get a little information from partner, figure out if you should be in game. All right, well, how do you want to deal with it? How do you feel about 3 diamonds as a game try? That is your second suit, right?
4 diamonds.
So the nice thing about this kind of hand is that sometimes your hand will fit neatly into a couple different types of game tries. If you were just playing regular natural game tries here, you could bid 3 diamonds. If you were playing help suit game tries, you could bid 3 diamonds.
No, 4 wouldn't be sufficient. Insufficient. Insufficient.
No. Remember, I'm giving you this. I'm asking, how would you bid this hand if the opponents don't bid?
Oh, okay. Oh,
right. Yes, because this matters. Because we're talking about. This is what we want to address first. I want to know what your bid is if the auction goes like that.
Maybe you don't need help because it's a doubleton?
Oh, okay.
We were wondering why you wouldn't ask for help in clubs, but,
Usually a help suit try is normally at least 3 cards.
okay.
Okay.
Small doubleton, you're not worried. I mean, you have at most 2 losers in that
Okay.
suit, so you may not love your club holding, but it's usually not a candidate for a help suit try. So. I've deliberately given you a hand where you could which fits neatly into whatever kind of game try you're playing. So most likely. So, but does 3 diamonds make sense as either a natural or a help suit? I mean, you would like to know if partner had the ace or queen of diamonds, had a little help in diamonds. You would like to know about that, wouldn't you? So, or maybe shortness. Maybe you wouldn't love it if partner had a singleton diamond because you have some points there that may be wasted, but. All right, so whether it's natural or whether it's help suit, let's say that you would normally want to make your try with 3 diamonds. All right, now let's transition back to the auction on the right, where we have all this interference from the opponents. The auction is now at 3 hearts before it gets back to you. All right, well, you can't make the game try that you want to make. Even if you wanted to make your game try in 3 clubs instead of 3 diamonds, that's not going to work here, right? Any suit that you bid at the 4 level is kind of a pointless bid, isn't it? Because you've already committed your side to game. If you're going to bid anything above 3 spades, you might as well just bid 4 spades now and take your shot at game, right? Well, what are you supposed to do? Do you have a game or don't you? Who do you believe? There's a lot of bidding going on at the table, and you clearly have the best hand. Are the opponents bidding on very little? Did partner make a really light raise to 2 spades? All right, so let's ask this question. What would that be?
Competitive to stop, maybe.
3 spades, just to play, right?
Mm-hmm.
That actually, not only is that not a game try, that specifically denies game interest. That is, partner, do not go on. I have no interest in game. I'm simply not selling out to 3 hearts. You can do this with a dead minimum hand if you've got some shape, right? Most commonly you do this because you have a 6th spade and you are just following the law of total tricks. We have a 9-card fit, we compete to the 3 level. That's usually all you're doing here. Well, it's not your hand. You don't have a 6th spade, but you do have a better hand. So the problem you have run into is that you want to make a game try. You do not want to insist on game. Except there are no bids between 3 hearts and 3 spades, right? At least there are no steps on the bidding ladder between 3 hearts and 3 spades. So this is problematic. There is one thing you can do. You can do that, right? The magic of double. The one bid you can make that takes up no space. Well, pass doesn't take up any space either, but pass isn't a game try. So what do you think about a double? So the main question we would want to ask here is, could double be for penalty? Are we really interested in penalizing 3 hearts? Are we telling partner, okay, we competed, we tried to play 2 spades, they outbid us, they bid to 3 hearts, now let's double them for penalty. Well, remember, we're not that often interested in doubling part scores for penalty, right?
We never double next to
Well, I wouldn't say never. It's a big part of match points. I doubled a bunch of part scores for penalty here last week. A lot of them worked out very well. I also had a big stack of trumps. My trumps didn't just look like ace doubleton. On one hand, my opponent's bid to 3 spades and I had ace king fifth. And I realized later on that if I had bid to 4 hearts, that they probably would have bid 4 spades and I could have extracted an even bigger penalty. Know your opponents. They always bid 1 more. So the idea is, look, if partner has enough to squeak out a raise and you have 16-point hand and you've got some values outside of spades here, would you beat 3 hearts double? Yeah, most of the time you probably will. One of your opponents might have a spade void or something and you won't be able to cash any of those on defense and maybe they can make it. But do I think we're beating 3 hearts? Yeah. Do I want to defend 3 hearts doubled if I think we might have a game? No, because I don't think we're going to get rich defending. So the idea is that double's going to be much more useful for you here as a game try and not for penalty. This is the maximal double. So when you see that on your convention card or somebody asks you, do we play maximal doubles? This is the situation they're referring to. Maximal